So a few weeks ago, a company called Bezus reached out to me to create an ad for their new LE Sport 1 headphones. Now, these actually aren't a noise cancelling headphones like a lot of others in the market at the moment. They're actually a headphone that allows you to be aware of your surroundings and hear things that are going on around you, which I thought was super interesting and kind of sparked my idea for this campaign with incorporating, a lot of sound design of car beeps and trains passing. I really wanted to show that, you can still listen to good quality music while still being aware of your surroundings. The initial idea kind of came with the idea of how can I make this appeal to their audience and who's actually going to use the product. So whenever I start a project like this, I usually go straight into my inspiration. Now, a friend of mine called Dan, who you probably have seen on this channel a few times, we actually decided to create a collaborative inspiration folder on Milanote, which is super helpful. Basically, whenever we see a frame that we like or a video, we just add it to that collection. And now we've got thousands of assets and thousands of frames that we think are going to be used to inspire us for a project whenever it comes down the line. My first thought was to go into that fitness folder and find some shots or find some frames that I thought were really going to inspire me for this project. Just some angles, some lighting, locations, just kind of the basic things. So I put all that into a mood board. Once I kind of got the visual conception of the way I wanted it to be shot, I would start going through YouTube or other creators' videos to get some reference videos. Now, I think finding inspiration is really important when it comes to creating a video. I think it's very hard to come up with an original idea from scratch. So I think it's really great for artists and video creators to pull one idea from one place and another idea from another place and mend it and build it together to make that your own video. Now, with the initial ideas board, it's kind of like a massive mind map. I just put down any idea I have. It's pretty crazy, and this is just something for me to see rather than the client. Mapping out different frames or, a vague story outline, reference videos, all that into one mood board. So once I'm done that planning, I can kind of conceptualize my idea and make it a bit more concise so I can present that to the client. Often when I storyboard, I actually write out the scene completely. So I write down the full visual idea and then followed by the implementation of my frames that I've got. And sometimes even once I've kind of got that idea in, I'll go and search for more inspiration or more frames that are going to suit the visual component to my idea. And then below that, I'll then have the exact shots per that scene. That's for my end, so the client can see the overall idea of what that little scene is or that flow of frames, that montage, as well as they can visualize it with the frames. I've recently been screen recording just a few seconds of a video because I think, it's one thing adding a complete video to your inspiration folder, but I think it's really cool to add in 4 or 5 seconds of a video that you think that I really want to implement that into my video. Adding that to your mood board, it saves you from scrolling across. You can just click on it, show the client straight away of the exact point in the video that you're drawing inspiration from. Once I've storyboarded that, I'll present that to the client, get any feedback that is needed, but luckily for this, they were super on board with it and we were ready to shoot. So now going into the actual shoot, we started off the shoot at sunrise, which is an early morning wake up. I always make sure that I pack the night before so I'm not forgetting anything. I'll also run through my storyboard one more time before I go to sleep, just so I know and I'm clear and concise that when I get to the shoot, I know exactly the shots that I want. Making sure that you're completely ready is super important on a shoot. So we met up with Isabel and Brody, who was shooting B-roll and also helped out with a few of the B-cam stuff. When I'm on the shoot, I'm always making sure that I'm keeping track of my shot list and my Milanote board. I'm always checking it. I'm showing it to the talent, making sure that they're completely aware of how the video is going to flow. I also show them the full storyboard and everything before the shoot. I find this super helpful because it allows them to get a sense of what the video is going to look like as well, rather than just rocking up and just doing. They're able to really get into character and make sure that they're aligning with the same mood as the video. Obviously, ideas are always going to come about, but the way I do it is I check off the shots that I critically need first, because when you're in the edit, if you've missed that critical shot that you need for the video, the whole video can fall apart. So I make sure I tick off all those shots that I need first, and then kind of on top of that go through any extra ideas that I come up on the shoot. The first sort of shots that I wanted in this video was quite dynamic and pushing forward. That's why I used the gimbal for a lot of the shoot, just to create those really smooth motions. I did do a lot of shots which were similar on handheld, and looking back in post, I think I got confused with what shots had the headphones in already when she was stretching and what headphones didn't. This wasn't great because in post there was a couple of shots that I really liked, but for continuity, I couldn't actually include that shot, even though it was a better frame. You know, she had the headphone in when she hadn't actually opened the case. So despite having my shot list on the shoot, I always make sure that I kind of have this rule of thirds. And it's not like thirds like grids. I do it like thirds, like every scene has at least 3 shots to it. Every little moment has at least 3 shots to it. And that's a wide, a medium, and a close-up. So when you're shooting runners or cars or something with movement, it's really easy to kind of get into your head about just getting rolling shots, you know, just getting shots of you running with the model and the gimbal, or, you know, a car if you're doing a car shoot. But it's super important to know that you've got to get a whole range of mixed shots, especially those fast cuts. To make your video pacey, having the same shot of the runner in different locations running towards the camera is actually, it's not going to make your video fast and energetic. You need more of those shots that are kind of whip pans or tighter shots of legs running. So you want to get shots of, you know, the talent running towards you, running away from you. The more shots on these shoots, the better. Sometimes you can overshoot, but I think on a shoot like this, it's not a bad idea to overshoot. You want to have different angles that are kind of creating your scene. So another really cool scene of the video that kind of came in pre-production was the idea of slowing down the shot when the biker comes past. As I said, I really put a lot of emphasis on the fact that these aren't noise cancelling headphones and that these are headphones that you can still be aware when you're running. So I thought the idea of having someone riding their bike, going past the runner, and the runner kind of looks behind, slows down. It's almost like time slowing down because she's super aware. And then the biker runs past and she can run out the way. I think this really is pivotal to the actual product because, as I said, it's not noise cancelling. This is kind of the idea that I wanted to implement. And to be honest, in hindsight, I probably could have shot this at 120 frames. I didn't. It still worked out well, but in hindsight, as I said, shooting that in 120 frames probably would have been a little bit better. And then the other shot was the match cut. The client wanted to incorporate the wire that connects to the headphones. And because I didn't want to just putting it on after a run, I didn't think that really made sense. You know, as someone, why would they wear the wire on half a run and not the other? So I kind of need to come up with an idea of where someone would wear that wire. And I thought of that extra movement, you know, doing sit-ups or boxing, somewhere where your head's kind of moving around a lot rather than the running. And to transition this from scene to scene, I thought a match cut would work perfectly. You know, she kind of bends over, takes a breath, and we get that match cut of her taking a breath in the next scene and then getting up and putting the wire on, which I thought kind of worked really nicely to transition those shots. And again, it makes the video just flow really nicely. So when I come into the edit, a lot of the times what I'll first do is I'll map out my timeline and I'll do my selects, just kind of making sure that I get every shot that I want in the video. Because I can't visually see what those shots are when I'm zoomed out, I'll go in and layer them per angle. So I'll have my wides, my mediums, and my close-ups, and then I'll go out and color code them. So my close-ups are pink, my mediums are orange, and my wides are green. And it depends on the project. Sometimes I change the color up quite a lot. And then I'll layer the video again and put it in order of my best shots and the ones that are kind of supporting those best shots. So when it comes to my color grade, I'll always start off by putting a Rec 709 on my footage just to kind of get that base layer. And then I'll go through and adjust my exposure to how I want it, deepening those shadows and, you know, getting those highlights nicely exposed. I'll add my white balance and I'll start working on those curves to adjust the color temperatures, the shadows and the hues as well. And then I'll go through the color wheels and just kind of pump any colors, any extra colors that I want in the grade. One thing that I love about DaVinci is being able to kind of qualify different colors and different parts of people. So I really wanted her skin to pop out a little bit more against the backdrop. So I qualified that and isolated that and then put her skin up a little bit more, increased the saturation and the brightness. And then I reversed that and in the background kind of deepened those shadows and made it a bit more blue, just so there was a bit more contrast between her and the background. And one thing that I've been doing recently is creating this anamorphic effect on my videos. And by doing this, I'll add a distortion where it kind of bends the frame a little bit. And then I'll add a radial blur to soften those edges and then kind of bring it in just to zoom it back in. And then once I do that, I'll just add that to all my other clips in that scene and do the same process. So specifically when it comes to sound design, I'll really make sure that there's a lot of atmosphere in my videos. A lot of the times I'll just mute the track and go into every scene and kind of make this atmospheric world around them. Everything from, you know, little cracks of the neck to, you know, breathing and hearing the running in the background. I really think this brings it to life, and a lot of these sounds you probably won't hear in the final cut, but very subtly they make a massive difference. So this is what the video sounds like without the music for the intro. A lot of sound design, a lot of atmosphere in the video that kind of brings it to life. Sometimes I use the sound on the actual shoot, so there's like a couple of train noises in the background which I've used just from the audio from the footage, and then a lot of the times I'll add in extra little things as well. And adding those whooshes and atmosphere sounds as well really just make it fluid for the viewer to see what is coming next, especially when you're using those transitions between whip pans and quick cuts. Those whooshes really sell that fast motion in your video. And sometimes in the video as well, there'll be sounds that don't actually exist. So with the shadow boxing, there is no sound that comes with shadow boxing when I'm actually filming her, but I'll add in the kind of like the quick whooshes that come past just to really sell that movement and really create that atmosphere. So this is before without any of the sounds. Stop that. And then with the sounds as well. Stop that. So that's kind of wrapping up how I go about creating a cinematic video for a client. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm definitely keen on putting out more YouTube, getting used to talking to the camera. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below if you what you thought of the video, if you learned something from it. And if you have any questions as well, I'll be responding to a lot of those questions. So thanks all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but minds keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the patch, now please use caution. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, minds keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution.